The jackasses in the rig realize they've lost their escort, too. The semi starts swerving, fishtailing to block me when I get so close I can read their plates. I take advantage of their chaos, veering out and rushing in tighter again, using it to flank the hauler's side till I'm right next to them. The semi lunges over, trying to force me off the road. They're fast and unpredictable. I'm just smarter. Or is it desperation? Stomping the gas, I wait till I'm even with the passenger window. I recognize that vicious face instantly. Hudson. His window's down, a gun wagging out of it. Shit. I hit the gas, speeding forward. Gunshots rip the air for what feels like the 100th time tonight, bullets pinging off my rear. My brain aches at what they might have already done to Shell. What they'll do for sure if I don't block them, stat. The semi chugs onward, undaunted even with several more big trucks closing in from every side. We play this game of chicken, them trying to drive me off the road while they fight to muscle the other trucks away. I dodge them every time, coming dangerously close to the edge, but stay clinging to the road. Hang on, Herc, I say when I spot a tight turn coming up. Without hesitation, I drive the truck into the ditch. We bounce violently a few times, but it works. If there's one thing these massive tires are good for, it's handling rough terrain, and that gives me an advantage. They can't cross the road's shoulders. The semi will roll, and I'll bet anything these two cowards won't gamble with their lives. The longer I follow, the more pissed off Carson Hudson gets. Fresh bullets ricochet off my truck, spinning back into the night as they try to shake me. My truck kicks hard as I roll over what feels like a half-broken fence, speeding along the semi like a shark trailing a juicy whale. I still see a cluster of headlights to the side, several more lights pulling ahead of them. A bright white light spears down from above. The chopper. Now they're screwed for sure. But what the fuck will they do if they don't surrender? Like a pack of wolves, the monster trucks surround them. We're about to overtake the truck when the semi swerves again, struggling to keep a few more trucks behind them. I stomp the gas so my truck climbs onto the road again, flying past the car trailer and running beside the passenger window again. This time, I see something besides Carson's sneering Wolverine face. A mass of red hair, a slash of movement, tangled arms. Shell. She's fighting for her life, trying to distract them, or maybe straining to get the gun out of his greasy paws. Fuck. She's going to get herself shot if I don't move it. My eyes flick past the twisting hands, ignoring the single loud shot that must punch through their roof straight to the screaming driver. That Remington asshole I see. He looks like he's losing his shit, roaring panicked words in the cramped space, highly distracted. It won't take much. Just a little nudge to make him lose control, lose speed, lose traction. I swallow hard. It's a gamble because Shelley could get hurt. Still, if I don't get that gun out of her face ASAP. Hercules growls like an overprotective dog. He knows what's coming. He understands. Brace, I whisper. I wonder if it'll be my last word as I foot punch the gas again, tearing out in front of them and open my window to fire several quick shots at the semi's hood. The noise is deafening, and it works. The semi slows in a singing shriek of tires, careening toward me, out of control. Then it's like the whole rig gets yanked back by some invisible tether. I stomp my brakes, slowing, watching that serpent of a truck fishtail wildly and go over into what I can only pray is shallower ground than the ditch I was in a minute ago. I'm right behind them, plodding after the hauler to the edge of a flat farm field where we both roll to a stop. The force nearly rips my arm out of my socket when I pop the door, leaping into the darkness with my 9mm. My ears are still so tattered from the explosive off-road skid of the semi that it suddenly seems eerily quiet. Then a loud, clear, panicked scream splits the night. "Shell," I snarl, running through a plume of dust to the truck's window. It's still open from Hudson's failed shooting antics. I leap up on the footboard and reach through the window. The monster trucks are catching up to us now, swarming around the trailer, the chopper beating the air loudly as it hovers overhead. I have to get inside, get to her, before they lash out and kill her. I'm throwing the door open when a head pops up, not hers. I don't hesitate as I swing at Hudson's shocked red face. His head cracks so hard with my impact it spins in the other direction. "Get out of the way, Shell," I shout, grabbing the bracket of the side mirror with one hand and the top of the door with the other. I leap off the running board and hoist myself up with a move I haven't used since boot camp. As soon as my hands are on top of the truck and I'm dangling, I swing up, plowing through the open window feet first. A gunshot barks. I know I've been hit by the sickening, familiar thwack before I feel it. The fire, the pain, the bite in my thigh confirms it. But that's not what catapults my heart into my throat. It's Shelley's ear-splitting scream.
25. Pig and Clover. Rochelle. "You dick! You shot him!" I scream at the driver. Yes, I'm afraid, but I'm also flaming pissed. Using the same nettleweed I'd used on Carson like a scourge, I attack the driver, flinging it into his eyes. God, it feels good to mash this weed in his face. I enjoy his pained gurgle more than I should. While he's scratching at his eyes, howling, I punch him in the temple with my other hand, pull his hair, try to hurt him as badly as possible. I need to distract them before they kill West. The moment I heard Carson say the words, "monster truck," my heart leaped into my throat. But I wasn't sure what to do, when to strike, not until the truck went spiraling off the road in a slow-motion earthquake. I heard the gunshots and ripped the cover material off my head, readying the only weapon I had. With a lucky flick of my wrist, the nettles lodged in Carson's face, leaving behind their thorns, just like I'm hoping with Rem the driver now. I can't overpower them physically, neither can Weston if he's dead. Everything happens so fast. I can't think, just react, just move. Shelley, stop, a gruff voice orders. "Get back. I got him." Weston's voice penetrates my hearing like he's shouting down a tunnel. Maybe because the rumble of the diesel engine no longer fills the cab, and my ears shook to near deafness when we skidded off the road. I scramble, fighting my way back through the narrow sleeper door. There's an odd silence through the lingering snap and pop of metal pieces settling, the two cursing, whimpering men sandwiching me, and the ferocious growl of the man who's just kicked his way into the truck feet first. I lean back to see into the sleeper I've just retreated from. Weston occupies the space between the two seats, legs bowed and body fully flexed, his lips pulled back in a menacing scowl. If our lives weren't actually on the line, he'd be the portrait of Scary Hot. I'm not sure if Carson is dead or just knocked out, but his head hangs like a broken doll. Weston kneels down with a low growl, shoving a burly hand on the driver's throat. "He has a gun, too," I rush out. "Not anymore," West says, holding up the silver handgun I saw Muddy Boots draw. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine, but Jesus, you're not." My eyes flick to the dark red wet patch on his jeans, completely staining his upper thigh. "They shot you." Ignoring me, he slaps at Muddy Boots' face, testing him, and he doesn't even flinch. When I stumble back into the cab a second later, it's right into Weston's embrace. A massive, tattooed arm winds around my neck. Those bourbon-sweet lips I feared I'd never taste again devour me with a superhuman hunger. All the veils between worlds are torn tonight, and monsters are real, But holy hell, so are heroes. Shocked, stunned, and thrilled is an epic understatement. I could inhabit this wholehearted reunion kiss forever, but reality tugs at my brain, sending panic through my veins. I jerk away, stuttering. You got shot. Weston, you're losing blood. We've got to get an ambulance. I'm fine, he says matter-of-factly. He's so handsome, so perfect, so flipping stubborn. Once again, he came to my rescue in my darkest hour. It takes another minute for the rest of our reality to sink in. I cover my eyes as a blinding light sweeps through the windows from above. Is that the police? Close enough. It's Drake and Bella's company chopper, so I'm guessing the sheriff isn't far behind. He pulls me forward, hugging me with a grip that's intense, desperate. You sure you're okay? He asks again, this gentle thunder in his tone that makes my heart skip. The driver wakes with a miserable sob. My face, my fucking face is on fire. I can't see. My eyes are... Oh, Jesus, help me. For the love of fuck, help. West's arms tighten, holding me protectively closer, leveling his gun at the man's head. Shut up. You'll have a doctor soon if you quit bitching. He shoves the gun barrel against his temple. The other man winces as West says, Don't tempt me, jackass. You almost got her killed. I dig my nails into his arm, pleading with the blue death in those eyes. Don't. We're safe. They'll be arrested, I whisper. He nods silently, but I can see how hard it is for him to resist slaughtering these two clowns. Thankfully, there's a loud grinding noise a second later. The doors of the semi open, and several sets of big, angry arms reach in, yanking both the driver and Carson out like bags of trash. Sharp green eyes appear below, dancing in the artificial light. Falk leans in the driver's door. Are y'all okay? Took a mighty big tumble. We're good, Falk, Weston says, never pulling his eyes off me, but I can tell his voice is weaker, and his hand drifts to his blood-soaked thigh. Oh, God, we can't stay here. The dome lights are on with the doors open, strangely blinding, and I can see the slow, horrible bleed seeping through his jeans. We're not okay, Falk. Very not okay. Weston's been shot, I say loudly, trying not to panic. The man nods, jumping into the empty driver's seat for a closer look. The next few minutes are a flurry of movement. Falk throwing an arm around Weston's shoulders and helping him out of the truck with another man waiting on the ground. West insists he'll be fine, about 100 times, but the amount of sticky blood says otherwise. So does the way he staggers once he's on the ground, like it's taking all of his energy to move without collapsing. I see the worried looks on the faces appearing around him. My heart stops and drops to my feet. Fuck. We gotta get him lifted ASAP. No waiting for the hospital. That bullet could have hit a major artery. A voice hisses in the darkness. I think it's Drake's. Use the chopper. Yeah, right there. The loud whirring woof, woof, woof from above increases as a helicopter bounces down on the highway, landing in the middle of the asphalt where trucks have blocked off both sides of the road, their lights pointing down the road like a makeshift emergency blockage. Several guys hoist West up and rush him inside the helicopter. Not about to let him out of my sight, I push through the small crowd and climb in beside him before anybody stops me. Please, I can't leave him, I plead, as a pilot looks back. He gives me a nod, and a man in a police uniform shoves a set of earmuffs into my hands. Even with them, the noise is ridiculous. Crouching down, I help apply pressure to Weston's thigh. Someone tied a leather belt around it, a makeshift tourniquet, and it's already drenched in blood. Time blurs as soon as we're airborne. I cry, I pray, I worry. I keep my head pressed against his chest, counting every second with his heartbeat, begging it to hold steady with my cheek as the helicopter heads for what must be Dickinson. Sweet Jesus, it hurts. Even having my own life in peril less than an hour ago wasn't this brutal. He can't die saving me. He lived through a frickin' war. I can't let him go without an apology, without the life we're meant for. After what seems like an eternity, we touch the ground. Blue-dressed medics meet the helicopter on the rooftop and pull Weston onto a gurney. "Stand back," they tell me. But I can't. I run to his other side, grasping his hand and speed-walking with them to the imposing metal doors leading inside. "Don't let him die," I shout at the medics. "I'm not dying, Shelley," he snarls weakly. "Don't worry your pretty head. I'll be right back." He drifts off, his eyes fluttering shut. Terror grips me by the throat like a serpent. He sounds so faint, so detached, so close to slipping away. But it's Weston, isn't it? I have to act tough, if only so he can have a crumb of my energy. "You'd better not go anywhere, you big lunk," I shout after him. "I'll never forgive you if you do." Once I'm inside and wiping the sobbing mess off my face, a nurse tells me I can't go further, but that I can give him a quick kiss. I do, trembling as I pray with my all that it won't be my last. Then I watch him disappear to fate through another big set of steel doors. As they wheel him away, my legs go out. The aftershock of everything hits like a fainting attack. I'm too sad to even wince as I go down hard, my knees banging the ground. The next thing I know, I'm on a bed with Graham, parked in a chair next to me, stroking my hand with her wrinkled fingers. "West." I try to jerk up, but I instantly regret it. My body feels too heavy, too sluggish, every muscle biting and sore. The pain rips me down in warning. "There now," Graham says. "I had them give you something to relax. You were so overwrought I feared the worst, Shelley Bean." "Weston?" His name sputters out more like a demand than a question. "He's still in surgery, dear, but don't worry. The nurse told Grady the bullet fell short of a major artery. It's lodged in bone and it might take time to extract it." She pats my face. "How are you feeling, Shelley? We came close to losing you." I hate the sadness bleeding into her voice. "Fine. I'll live, Graham." I try clearing what feels like steel wool in my scratchy throat. I probably scarred my throat from screaming bloody murder during my nettle fight, and again to call down all the healing gods who ever existed to save my man. Mine. I decide right here tonight that he belongs to me as much as I always have to him. "Need a sip of water?" Graham asks. I nod, taking a long slurp off a curly straw that she holds in front of me. The stress must completely take over then, because I start laughing. "Girl, it's so good to see you smile," Graham beams. "If I knew these curly straws still made you laugh, I'd have had 1,000 waiting for you at home." How could I ever forget? You used to give us those kiddie beach cocktails with fruit and lemonade every summer we went swimming in Big Fish Lake. We always used our straws to spray water at each other, I say, both loving and loathing the memory that comes back. Young Weston's sleek, tanned body, boyish and utterly perfect when he smiled around the straw. Mischief flashing in those starlight blue eyes every time he emerged from the lake to spray me when we weren't both chasing Marty. "You'll see better days soon enough. The doctor says your throat will be awfully sore for a while," she says slowly. "And your neck. It's already bruised from that lying, two-faced bastard scoundrel." My eyes widen in surprise. I can count on both hands how many times I've ever heard Graham curse in my life. "I can't believe how he tricked us," she continues, her eyes pinched shut, shaking her head. "Believe me, Shelley, he'll spend the rest of his life in jail. Sheriff Larkin will see to it, and so will I." Everything that happened flits through my mind like a colony of discontent bats, taking flight. How's Faye? Oh, she'll be just fine. Her injury's bark was worse than its bite. They're keeping her overnight just for observation and due diligence. They said you can leave whenever you're ready. But I said we aren't going anywhere. Not until we hear about Weston.
No, we aren't. I agree. Thank you, Graham.
Save your gratitude for the man of the hour. He was always the first one to jump in to save you, and I see some things never change, she says with a slow, far-off smile.
I wish she was wrong.
This time he could have died. His near sacrifice brings stinging tears to my eyes. There now. That boy's too stubborn to let a little scrap of metal shorten his days. Almost as bullheaded as you are sometimes, Shelley Bean. I nod, but deep down, I'm terrified that's not true. What if something goes wrong in surgery? Weston is my protector for life, and he's proven just how much I need him these past few weeks, even when I thought I hated his guts. He's saved my life twice in one season. I could have gotten him flattened by a front-end loader the first week I came home. Now, thanks to me again, he's lost God only knows how much blood. Go ahead. Call it insane because it absolutely is. I don't go looking for trouble. It just finds me. And so does Weston McKnight, this strange, gorgeous guardian man who's always had a gold compass to my heart. Hey, Shelley. How you holding up? I look up to see Marty tugging the curtain aside, concern etched on his face. She'll be fine with a few days' rest, Graham answers for me. Marty kisses my forehead, rubbing my shoulder like he wants to convince himself I'm really okay, truly still in one piece. That makes me want to start bawling all over again. Thank God, Graham. I was worried to death when I heard how that semi rolled and how West got tore up. Without him and that pig, I don't even want to imagine what would have happened. Pig? You mean Hercules? I bolt up, ignoring the groaning muscles in my lower back. Marty chuckles. Grady says he's fine. They brought him over to the Barnett's place tonight to stay. Weston had him sniffing you out like a bloodhound. He got a little shaken up in the showdown, but he's fine otherwise. Holy bananas. Saved by a wild pig and a wilder man. With a nod, I sink back down on the bed, happily deflated to know one little thing went right tonight. Say, are you up for talking to Drake? He needs an official statement. Probably good to get it down while your memory's fresh, so we can slap those pricks with abduction charges, too. Marty grins at me. Don't forget to tell him where you got the nettles. That was pretty clever.
I'm glad you think so, I say with a snort. And yeah, sure, I can talk to him whenever. The weed was dumb luck. I meant to throw it away, but forgot when I saw the ambulance for Faye. It was still in my pocket when I caught Carson messing around.
Save your voice, he says, patting my shoulder gently. I'll go grab the sheriff. The next hour is a disembodied whirlwind. I try to speak coherently without worrying myself sick about West. Drake sits at my side, punching words into a tablet while I repeat exactly what happened after Graham and Marty left to comfort Faye. I also learn how a wandering Hercules found Drake and tipped him off that something was very wrong. To complete the weirdness, he mentions Granny Coffee stepping up in our absence, taking care of the poor abandoned guest who'd tried to check in. Wow, looks like Graham might owe her a month's worth of strawberries, I say with a snicker. Sure enough, Drake says in his flat Yankee drawl, calm as ever. Now, you mentioned Carson Hudson, and that's not his real name, mentioning some meteorite business in an earlier interaction. I nod, but I'm confused. Yeah. You mean he used a fake name, or what? He's a Carson, all right, but his last name's Bostrom. Took some deep digging in Boston police records to figure that out. Turns out, that uncle he mentioned, a man named Gerald Bostrom, was scamming folks all over the Pacific Northwest 30 or 40 years ago with similar schemes. Only, he got a little farther than his nephew.
He had a nasty ring of stolen art going. Pretty nice black market business till his greed took over. Then he got in over his head with some space rock out in Montana. And that was the end of him. I raise my eyebrows, surprised that part is true. But Carson was awfully obsessed with the fake meteorites the Three Musketeers found, wasn't he? The same rock in Faye's photos that drew him here, like a wolf smelling blood. That's insane, I whisper. I'm guessing this wasn't his first try with stealing antiques? Drake shakes his head. Not hardly. I called Montana and had a chat with Sheriff Langley out in Hart's Edge about an hour ago. This guy showed up there under a third different name a couple months ago, sniffing after some secret gold in a lake or something. But an old lady in town noticed the resemblance to his dead uncle, and he blew town pretty fast. We also turned up some reports of petty thefts at antique shops and flea markets in New England further back. I'd bet my bottom dollar his prints will be a match for some of them. What about the other stuff that went missing here? Did you find Faye's gun? I ask. He smiles. A thorough search of the Tesla in the trailer with the Corvette turned up a couple real interesting concealed compartments. Faye's Winchester was tucked under the back seat, along with several other valuables he swiped from your grandma's basement. He called in the goons he recruited through Carolina Dibs to set up the big heist, going after your grandpa's cars. I nod slowly. Everything makes sense. It just doesn't make me happy. I want to barf for ever giving Carson the benefit of the doubt. A traveling antiques dealer? Ugh, why hadn't I trusted my instincts? I mean, what kind of sicko can stand the taste of those rotten swamp nuts? The more we talk, the more questions I ask, and the weaker my voice gets. A couple throat lozenges help, but my voice is totally exhausted. Drake has me sign the statement on the tablet, while Graham returns and insists on calling a doctor. Totally understandable, Miss Simon, the doctor tells me after Drake leaves. Your voice box needs time to heal. It'll be much better by this time tomorrow, I promise. There's no lasting damage. Knowing I can't get more words out, I just nod. The doctor looks at the nurse next to him. Nurse Amy has a pair of socks for you to wear, and then she'll take you down to recovery to see Mr. McKnight, if you'd like. For our sake, I hope you want to. The man practically threatened to start tossing heads around the room if you aren't there when he wakes up. The surgery went quite well, and he'll be going home in 3 or 4 days. That long? I squeak out. Yes. Regrettably, we need to keep his leg immobilized and under observation. The gun was fired at such close range that the bullet did significant muscle damage before it became lodged in bone. It'll heal, however. We need to take plenty of extra precautions the first few days, he says. My heartbeat picks up while the doctor rambles on with the nurse and Marty, explaining that Weston won't be very coherent when he wakes and that I need rest too. But I can sit with him for a short time. As the doctor exits, I roll on my socks and slip into shoes before leaning into the supportive arm Marty offers. We walk down several long corridors to the recovery area. West looks like the only one there tonight. Tears nip at my eyes as I look through the glass. How pale he looks. And that IV in his arm darkly complements the sling holding his leg up. I almost don't want him to wake up tonight, knowing how miserable he'll be. It hits me like a brickbat to the face, and I know this is my fault. All my fault. Let's go, sis, Marty says softly, guiding me into the room and one side of the bed. My brother keeps a gentle arm around me as I grasp Weston's hand. I'm so flipping sorry, West. How can I ever make it up to you? I whisper. His eyes stir, fluttering open. He stares at me for the longest second ever before cracking a faint smile. Told you I wouldn't die, he says, his voice a dry rattle. I try to talk, to laugh, but nothing comes out. Probably for the best when all I want to say will throw him into a coma. I love him. I've always loved him. I love him so much I'm shaking, so much it kills me not to tell him right here, right now. But I can't be the death of him after everything earlier, so I lean down, pressing my lips to his forehead. He lets out a long, groaning sigh. I can tell he's falling asleep fast. He'll be in and out of it for a while, the nurse says, entering the room. That's normal for a fella in his state. He's very lucky. I nod, blotting at the tears on my cheeks. Hell of a friend, isn't he? Marty asks, giving me a knowing look. I nod again, like my neck turned into dough, blinking back more tears. I told him to tell you everything, that you'd understand. But you know what an uptight donkey he can be, Marty says with a laugh. I just wish he would have listened before this crap came down. Frowning, I look at Marty. Tell me what? The army? Weston's struggles still make me feel awful, especially knowing I wasn't here for him when he came home. I already heard a lot from Faye. He went through hell during that ambush. After it, he was dead set on punishing himself for living when so many didn't. He pauses, shaking his head. But that's not what I'm talking about. I look at him, wait for more, wondering if my brain is just done working tonight. He sighs. The reason he joined the army in the first place, Shell. All those years ago, he was on the fence about it for months before he called the recruiter back. You never knew? I have no idea what he means and shake my head. It was you. He holds up a stiff, accusing finger. All you. My brows pull down. I'm lost. Marty nods. He knew you'd never live the life you deserved if he was still around when you turned 18 and finished high school. He knew about your crush, and though he never said it, I think he had an inkling about how hard it'd be to control himself once you were old enough and fair game. My brother smiles sheepishly, that easy, lopsided grin he's had since we were kids. A shiver wafts up my spine. That was what Weston made me promise. Leave town, go to college, see the world. I did that because he asked, because he vowed to stay in touch. I waited on his no-show letters with a slow, creeping disappointment that turned to sadness, then fear, then anger. Until this fall, I let his ghosting act make me numb. But I can't deny the ugly truth, that there was a method to his cold-hearted madness. If he'd stayed almost a decade ago, so would I. I never would have tasted a day at the museum if he hadn't enlisted. The older boy and protector who always held the key to my future. Marty gives me a sideways hug. He didn't mean to be a dick. He was gonna write you. But shit got complicated over there, and I guess he thought if he hurt you a little then, if he went radio silent, it would spare you a lot more grief later on. I told him it doesn't work that way, but he's a friggin' hee-haw. Absolute donkey man. Come to think of it, almost as boneheaded stubborn as you. He kisses the top of my head. Hold up, I'll find you a chair so you can sit here until he wakes up. Somehow I nod. No easy task when your heart keeps crumbling like a sugar cookie whacked with a mallet. I can't stop the tears this time. They come out in a raging flood against my fingers, my lungs heaving. Everything he did, everything he went through, everything he feared, it's all been because of me and his stupid, brave, insane need to protect me. The same lethal instinct that put him in this hospital bed tonight. There's nothing I could ever do to make it up to him. Nothing but one decision that gouges my heart out. Leave again. If that's what he wants, it's the only option. I wonder if that's why he warned me my country roots were showing before that wonderful night at the car show, and why he wouldn't believe me when I swore I didn't miss the big city. I wasn't lying. If my bosses called right now and offered me a way out, I'd take it in a heartbeat. But I can't keep hurting him. Can't keep letting him save me. Can't keep injecting more pain into his sad bruise of a life. Can't coexist with both of us living a confusing lie. You gonna be okay alone for a few minutes? Marty asks. I'll go fill everyone else in on how he's doing. Yeah, I say, even though I know I might never be okay again. What if he wakes up and asks me to go home when my truest home is here. What if I can't leave the man I love so desperately a second time?
26. Feral Pig. Weston. Have I mentioned I hate fucking hospitals? I force myself to not so much as flinch while the doctor's grubby hand digs at my bandage. He wants to see the raw hole in my upper thigh. The leg feels tender, sore, but with his approval, I might be able to escape this place today. Hell, with how I'm feeling right now, I'll leave without it. She was there when I woke up from surgery, straddling two realities. No doubt about every living bit of her being real. I remember her small hand in mine, fiery as ever. I remember the glassy look in her eyes. I remember her lips caressing my forehead as she kissed me. I also remember that I haven't seen her since, and I wonder why. She barely said a word when she was here. Marty tried explaining it the next day when he'd stopped by to see me. She wasn't able to talk much after the way that sadistic freak choked her. Strangled her till she'd passed out, and again while she scratched up his face with that nettle. I'm still so furious I can see the heart monitor spike every time I think about it. Not even Drake's assurances that they'll throw the book at Carson Bostrom, technically, I guess, and his shithead minions helps. Shelley could have been seriously hurt, slaughtered. They could have taken her away from me before I ever got a chance to say jack shit to her. And I'm ready to say a lot more now whenever I see her again. You didn't finish your lunch, I'm told, the doc says, looking at me over his spectacles. Not hungry, I answer. How's the leg look? Well enough with the great work I do, the doc says proudly. The swelling is down significantly today. You're welcome, Mr. McKnight. I snort, casting him a deadly look. So you mean I can go home? Great. Well, ideally I'd like to keep the leg immobilized for at least another day and do one last check. It's been 3 goddamn days, I snarl, trying to sit up and instantly regretting it. It feels like a rat with rabies crawled up my thigh and gnawed his way out. Technically 2.5, he counters. Whatever, Doc. Feels like it's a hell of a lot longer, I grind out. What's the point in lounging around here for $5,000 a day? I can lie in bed at home for free. Raising his bushy eyebrows, the short doctor snaps off his latex gloves and tosses them in the trash. Then he lets out a long sigh. Why do I have a feeling that if I don't discharge you, you'll leave anyway? Because I will, I throw back. All right, you devil. Let me get some prescriptions ready and we'll fuck your pain pills. He gives me a shocked look. I'm not about to go down any road that could lead to new addictions. Sorry, I say, clearing my throat. What I mean is, I want to work through it naturally. Regardless, you'll be on a few drugs for infection control and anti-inflammatories. How do you feel about a cane? He asks. Please understand you shouldn't put more pressure on that leg than necessary. I swallow an acrid sigh. What the hell ever. He's been a good guy, and he's willing to let me go. How about a gold knob on the top? Always wanted to play rich asshole when I was a kid, I say teasingly. He laughs. No gold, I'm afraid, but there are rubber precision grips on the bottom. I snort in return. Okay, I'll comprise. Do you have a phone? He asks, glancing at the rolling table next to my bed. Do I? Mine was in the truck when I went charging in. From what Drake said, my truck took a nasty hit to the right front corner when I rammed the scumbags in the SUV. I'm just glad Hercules was fine when they picked him up, but with a name like that, he had to be. Think I lost it during the incident that got me shot, I say. He nods and walks to the door. I'll send in your uncle shortly so you can make arrangements, and I'll have your discharge papers ready within the hour. Thanks, I say, but then wonder if I want Uncle Grady bringing me home. If I get my phone back and call Thelma's place, Shell might come and get me. Then again, though I want to see her terribly, I don't want her getting an eyeful of me limping around on a cane with rubber grips like some frail old man. My heart thuds harder as I think about seeing her. Hell, maybe I should let her see me with the cane. I bet I could convince her to play nurse for a bit while we kiss and make up for everything that went down before the shit show. It feels like eons pass before Uncle Grady steps into the room with a phone in his hand and plugs it into the wall. Thanks, I tell him, still considering whether or not the rest of me can handle what my dick craves if I actually get a lift home from Little Miss Simon. Who are you so set on calling? Grady asks, standing at my side. I set the phone down. Help, and not you this time, Unc. You already saved my skin by helping coordinate with the other guys that night. Doc says I can go home. He sets a duffel bag on the chair by the window. I brought you some clothes. Didn't think you'd let them keep you much longer, and I'm sure you can use a change. Thanks, shit. I flip the thin blanket down. Oh, I'm sick of this gown. He chuckles, scratching his beard.
It'll be an hour or so before the orders come through for him to leave,
the nurse tells Grady as she walks out the door. I grab the bed rail to help flip my leg over the edge of the bed. Give me that bag, would you? Not yet, Grady says quietly, stepping forward. He stands between me and the chair holding the bag. Not until we talk. I blink at him. Talk about what? Rochelle Simon. Shit, he can't be serious, can he? The somberness in his tone makes my grip on the railing tighten. You really think this is the time and place for a heart-to-heart? Unc, I was gonna call her and have her pick me up so she went back to Washington, he says bluntly, cutting me off. Took the last flight out of Bismarck last night. What? I fling it like a curse. Every part of me stiffens, guarding my reaction to the news of the worst fucking kind. Aunt Faye told me this morning, West. She warned me not to tell you, but I thought you should know. Better to hear it from me than anybody else, he says, folding his arms. I nod, like my insides aren't as raw as fresh beef run through a dull grinder. Whatever, I insist, holding up my hands. That's where she lives, obviously. After all that's happened, it's good for her to get the fuck out of here. I wouldn't stick around a second longer myself after a couple maniacs wanted me dead. Is it? Is it actually good for you two to be apart? Grady squints at me. You're two hard-ass peas in the same denial pod, you and Rochelle. Marty tried talking her out of leaving, but she wouldn't listen. Said it was something she had to do. Don't blame her for anything, I say, growing irritated that he might. It's not Shell's fault. I'm not saying anything's her fault. If you ask me, it's 50-50, he clarifies. You're both hell-bent on denying what's always been right in front of you. When are you both gonna gun up and admit you love each other? I spent years living in denial myself, thinking I could never love again after I was widowed with the girls. Then I found Willow. She peeled my eyes open, and the rest was history. I huff out a sigh, my frustration rising. Point taken. Shame I don't have a nickel on me for your sage advice. He chuckles, leaning against the wall. No, but you owe me your ears. I'm your ride out of this joint, so I think you'd better listen to what I have to say, West. I don't want to hear this shit. Nope, he says, walking to the edge of the bed. I've got the floor, literally. It shouldn't be this hard. Now, I know you've been in love with her for years, and I've seen you the past few weeks, ever since she returned. So has everyone else. You've both been lit up like the sun, happy and alive. We lock eyes, holding gazes like two teams in a tug of war. My uncle doesn't understand. I was happy before all this trouble. Now my throat burns knowing she's gone. Marty told her she was the reason you joined the army, he says. Slowly, I press a hand to my head. Fuck. Why'd he do something that stupid? Uncle Grady shrugs. Guess he hoped she'd finally see the light and admit she loves you back, he tells me. He's beside himself that it backfired and sent her away. You and Rachel need to sit down and talk without the same old song and dance. Tell her everything. She believes you wanted her to leave again. That's why she packed her bags and flew the coop. Better that she did, I force out. I'm no fucking good for her, Unc. I smashed her heart with a sledgehammer before while she was just a kid. Then she was kidnapped and nearly strangled to death. All because I couldn't pull my head out of my ass long enough to whack an obvious snake. Interesting, he says slowly, giving me this brown-eyed sideways glare. She thinks you were shot because of her. She won't stop beating herself up. Hell no, none of this was her fault. I knew something wasn't right about either of those strangers, and I should have acted. You should have acted on your feelings for Shelley. He walks to the chair, setting a hand on the duffel bag. Now, I know you can live the rest of your life without her, but my question is, do you want that life without her? Don't bullshit me, West. I roll my eyes. Not when we both know you'll go on loving her even if she moves to Antarctica. You'll always wonder what you're missing. What ifs will be torture, he continues, throwing his hand up before leveling another glare on me. Imagine, boy. Imagine never falling asleep next to her every night and waking up with her snuggled against your side every morning. Imagine never knowing the joy of being married to your best friend, never having children with her, never— Enough! Just fuck stop. I can't take the images he's hammering into my rock of a head. Scenes of everything I've always deprived myself from having. Oh, I'm sorry, he spits sarcastically. Did I finally strike a nerve? Screw you, I mutter, throwing him an eat shit grin. He laughs bitterly. And I've always been honest with you, even with things you didn't want to hear. You're my nephew, and I tell it like it is. Right now, I'm telling you it's time to let go of the past. All of it, West. When you stagger out of here, I want you to give up living in the past. Live with the rest of us in the present. Grady isn't wrong. The truth is one big bitch with diamond-sharp claws. When I hit rock bottom before, he told me I needed help and worked like hell to pull me out of that tailspin. I know. I whisper. He holds a hand behind one ear, cups it as if to hear better. What was that? I roll my eyes at him again. I said I know, okay? I shake my head. And I know that Shell and I need to talk. I need to tell her everything. He nods solemnly. You sure do. Picking up the bag, he carries it over to the bed. That's why I took the liberty of tossing more than one set of clothes in this bag. Aunt Faye packed it, so you have enough clean underwear for at least a week. I'm sure you can buy whatever you need beyond that. A week? I ask as I look at him warily. A slow grin crawls across his face. I knew you'd get your head in the right place, and when you did, you'd be mighty restless. So, I have you booked on a flight leaving Bismarck at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Couldn't get a direct flight. They all have a layover in Minneapolis, but it's less than an hour. You'll be in D.C. before midnight with the time change. Heart pounding with excitement, I unzip the bag. You'll give me a lift to the airport? No, I'll make you hitchhike, he answers jokingly while walking to the door. He opens it and grabs a set of crutches. I stop and stare. The doc said he'd give me a cane. I know, but I told him you need crutches, Grady replies. I told the airline you needed a seat in first class because of your injury. Crutches will prove it's serious, a cane won't. Works for me. Even as I battle back a smile, I shake my head at my uncle. He's like a badass guardian angel sometimes. Too good at making me see things from a new perspective, which is usually the right one. Thanks for everything. Oh, and Hercules already on it, he says. Ridge and Grace have plenty of space for him in their stables for a few more days. I told him I'd stop by personally to look after him. Perfect. Oh, and I sort of promised him his weight in bananas and peanut butter if he helped me out, I explain. He may not understand, but I never would have found her without his bloodhound nose. I'm gonna live up to my word. Grady's smile grows. Got it. You'll get a couple PB-dunked bananas every day you're gone. I nod gratefully, rifling through the bag for my clothes. Remember, I'm not the only one who loves you, Weston, he says carefully as I meet his eyes. You just have to let her know. Show her it's okay to finally love you. You're right. Then again, you always are, I grumble. I can't deny giving him a metric fuck-ton of credit. I'll have the evening and several long hours of traveling tomorrow to figure out what to say to her, how to convince her I'm done being a jackass and we need to be together. I'm so up in my head, I jump when he hands me a crutch. Come on, boy. Let's get you out of this place and cleaned up at home.
27. This little piggy went home. Rochelle. Sirens wail outside my apartment for the 10th time today. Lost and mournful. Welcome back. I've been home in this city for just a couple days, and I already miss Dallas's peace and quiet worse than Graham's strawberry shortcake. Actually, it's the people I'm missing most, along with one very special pig. Let's not mention a particularly pig-headed man. Technically, I could call the hospital any time or his phone, assuming it wasn't destroyed in the showdown. Of course, I can't do that because it'll blow my entire plan to smithereens. I set my phone on the counter and finish scraping my stuff together. Binders of old papers and a couple worn books about the Old West given to me by an awesome professor. Everything fits in 2 boxes I'll ship back to Dallas. I stare at the meager contents of my life here, wondering if I'm making the right choice or losing my sanity. It feels like a whole life, an alternate world that's suddenly stillborn. Heavy. But I guess the fact that I'm not mourning it means a whole lot more. Graham is the only living soul who knows my real reason for coming back here. Whenever Weston and I sit down to talk, I want him knowing this was my decision, nobody else's. He'll still be in the hospital if he isn't laid up at home, and that works to my advantage. With his leg wrapped up, he won't be able to walk away this time. He'll have to lie down, listen, and wait until I'm good and done. It's my turn to live the life I sketched out years ago, before I left Dallas for a dream I was so sure I wanted. That's the curious thing about dreams. They come and go nightly. But the repetitive ones? Those are the dreams you sink your claws into, hold on tight, and let them float you away to a better universe. I may be over 1,500 miles from North Dakota, but I know what I'm dreaming every waking second with my eyes wide open. A life that includes Weston McKnight. All of him. Every single day. If that's what he wants, and only if. That's the part that scares me. Behind his growls and battered heart, I believe he loves me. I've seen it in his eyes, when they go all soft and starry, tranquil as the clear blue sea. Convincing him his love is all I've ever wanted? There's our big yikes. He's not an easy man to convince, even when it's what he wants most. Then again, neither am I. That could be why we've butted heads so often. 2 stubborn idiots, so madly in love they're terrified to admit it. Picking up a framed picture for the box, I pause and stare at the photo. It's an old one with Weston, Marty, and me.
The boys sit on the front steps of Graham's house, and I'm kneeling behind them, my head stuck between theirs and my arms around their shoulders. I was 14 when Graham snapped the photo. It was about this time of year. Mountains of yellow leaves piled on the ground and fire-red fragments still clinging to the trees. The boys just finished raking the yard when I'd brought them a couple cold sodas with those curly straws I love so much stuck in the glasses. I sigh softly. Setting the picture in the box, I cover it with packing foam and glance around the shoebox apartment that would honestly fit inside one of Amelia's rooms with plenty of space to spare. The unit came fully furnished, which is common out here. The city swarms nonstop with politicos who move in and out with nothing more than a suitcase on a regular basis. The apartment served me well enough, but it's not worth the nosebleed rent I've been paying every month just to have a short bus hop to the museum. I could buy a nice freaking house in Dallas and still have a payment barely half my rent here. For what? A place to sleep? To dream without dreaming? That's all it's ever been. It's never been home. It's never been me. Thankfully, the powers that be at my job were so gentle when I gave them my 2 weeks' notice. I told them the truth. I don't belong here. And it's downright amazing how right it felt to tell them that. Wiping my brow, I taped the box shut. The building manager said I could leave them on the counter that separates the mini kitchen from the pint-sized living room, and he'll ship them home for me. He also said that with the waiting list he has right now, they'll send in a cleaning crew and have someone else moved in next week. Fine by me. I'll be home where I belong, figuring out my life with West, or without him. It's amazing how calm I feel about that, without having an answer to the most agonizing question of all. I stare at my sad purple flowers in their vase by the sink, long wilted like prunes, because I forgot to give them away or junk them before I left for North Dakota. I lift them out of the dry vase and slowly pluck the petals. Will he or won't he? And what if he won't? Oh, but what if he does? A drumming knock at my door makes me jump. I glance at the clock. It's after midnight, and the building is pretty secure, so I'm not too worried it's trouble on my doorstep. No one gets in here without being buzzed in or knowing the code. I wait and listen, wondering if it was for the apartment across the hall. Then it sounds again, definitely on my door. Crossing the room, I peer out the peephole. My heart hits my throat as I stumble back. Weston? Holy crap! I flip the lock and open the door so fast I forget about the chain. Oops, hold on. I slam the door shut and unhook the chain. My hands are shaking so hard, I can't get the little knob to glide through the metal slide. Sorry, just give me a minute. I repeat it twice before I finally get the damn thing loose and open the door again. What are you doing here? On crutches? Oh my God. You should be in the hospital resting. Not when I'm discharged, Shell, he says, striking me down with that devastating grin. God, he's so handsome it physically hurts, and it feels like a miracle to see him smiling. I want to hug him, kiss him, climb him like a tree. Get in here already, I hiss, shoving the door wide open so he can make it over the threshold with his crutches. Come sit before you hurt yourself. Discharged or not, you should still be resting. You're repeating yourself, he says. Yeah, because you shouldn't be here. He chuckles and swaggers inside like it's no more difficult than walking over to the B&B from his place next door. I almost forget to lock the door before I whirl around to face him. Now, what are you doing here? I ask, blinking in disbelief. He sets the crutches on the floor, along with an overstuffed bag hanging off one shoulder. He keeps a black book of some sort tucked under one arm. What does it look like? Shaking his head, he says, I'm sorry, Shell. All I ever wanted to do was protect you, keep you safe. I thought that meant keeping you away from me, once upon a time. He goes quiet. I raise an eyebrow, breathlessly waiting for more. I'm here.
So clearly I can't do that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore, so screw it. You know how I am with words. He shrugs, then pulls that folder out from under his arm. First, I owe you an explanation for the elephant in the room. Read. He pushes the folder toward me. Blinking, I take it warily, studying him as I whisper, "What's this?" "Read, Shelley," he repeats, his eyes hardening. "At least sit first," I say, leading him over to the sofa just a few steps away. "Do you need something? Coffee? Water?" "I need your eyes, woman," he says softly. "Just give me 10 minutes. Read." Okay. I'm trying not to tremble as I get us both settled next to each other. Why does it feel like this thing weighs 100 pounds? I'm so taken aback by the weirdness that the air locks in my lungs, and when it comes out, I start coughing. I tug at the sweater I put on to hide the bruises on my neck. He lays a big hand on my back. "Is your throat still sore? Do you need some water? Marty said you couldn't talk, but damn it, hold on. I'll get you some water." "No," I whisper, grasping his hand as I clear my throat. "Not until I've had a look at whatever this is." He settles back in his seat as I open the folder. It's holding what looks like a fat bundle of handwritten pages, many of them smudged, worn, yellowed. We glance at each other as I pull the first one out. He nods slowly, never taking those midnight blue eyes off me. It's a letter, I realize, his unmistakable writing slashed across the page in even lines. "Shell, why did the envelope take so long to get ready? It had to get addressed. I'm sorry I haven't written since basic. After 2 weeks over here, Fort Benning feels like a palace and Dallas might be heaven. Just saying hi to make sure you don't miss me. Give Marty hell for me." Tears sting my eyes. I rifle through a few more pages, noticing each letter is dated a few months apart. The early ones are short and full of jokes, so dumb they'd make anyone else cringe. Me? I'm smiling like a love-struck fool. And I'm not expecting it when I jump forward over a year to a note that's more than a few sentences. "Shelley, I doubt you'll ever read this, but it's going down on paper. How many times did you tell me to put my experiences on paper for posterity when I called you a history dork? Fuck it. I listened. We saw our first dead people today. His name was Hamid. He served us tea often when we'd pass through his village. He had 18 grandkids. They slaughtered them all except the 2 older ones. His wife, his sons, his entire family. Remember those World War I books you had your nose stuck in last summer, the ones you tried to tell me about and I pretended not to listen? It still couldn't have prepared me for this. I wonder if those dudes in the trenches ever got desensitized, or if they were just always sad. Something tells me I'd better figure it out real damn fast. I miss Marty. I miss Dallas. I miss you. I'm starting to breathe hard, but I see West nodding in my peripheral vision, urging me to keep going. I flip through a few more pages as the dates grow farther apart. Happy 18th birthday. I haven't sent you shit and I'm not sure I ever will. Since you won't see this, I'll tell you why I keep writing. This is my fucking therapy. This is me being very, very glad you're safe at home and I'm here. This is me wishing I was home to give you crap while you stuff your face with Thelma's cookies. Wishing I could see the light in your eyes before you leave Dallas behind for a lifetime of learning and fun. This is also me wishing for crazy shit I shouldn't, and knowing it won't do you a lick of good. So for you, I'll always just wish you the best. Crying. I have to stop and wipe my eyes while I page forward to the very last letter. It's just a few months before he came home. Shelley, Rochelle. Would you even recognize me now? Would you bother trying after I blew you off, never sending a single damn one of those stupid-ass letters? I imagine you're happy and well wherever you are, that pretty head just getting smarter and prettier like a sharpened knife. I'll bet you're too busy learning to think of me, and honest to God, you shouldn't. Because I'm not the same fresh-faced idiot who left Dallas and left you hanging with a promise I can never keep.
because I've seen so much fuckery. I get what that writer you love with the weird Russian name meant when he said, "The darker the night, the brighter the stars." Except mine have gone out forever, and I'm too chicken shit to even tell you. All I know is I'm coming home soon and you're not. I guess this is a goodbye you'll never hear, a farewell to this godforsaken place and good people and everything I thought I knew. I only have one thing I regret more than never showing you these psycho scribblings. I never told you when I could. I never told you I love you so much, so hard, so secretly it ripped me open years ago. And now I never will. You can't see the stranger, the mess, the fucked up wreck I've become. I'll tell Marty that if you ever come home to Dallas, don't try to find me. Consider me missing and gone, lost to the violence, too dead to be your friend, much less the hero you deserve. Have a nice life. West. His name tears up my throat with a strangled sob. He's dumping his entire heart. He's quoting Dostoevsky. He's killing me one visceral confession at a time. My hands are shaking, as I press the paper to my thigh, looking up at blue eyes so hot they're pure plasma. Ball lightning. Here I am. Good news. I'm not lost anymore, he says quietly, his voice so raw. I love you, Shell, and you're holding the proof that I always have. If DC is where I'll find you, where I can keep loving you like I should have years ago, then that's where I want to stay, with you. I'm so taken aback, the air locks in my lungs, and when it hisses out, I cough, tugging at this blasted turtleneck sweater again that's way too tight. He's instantly at my side, inching closer on the sofa. Hold on, woman. I'm gonna get you that water. No, I stammer. You sit. I wrap both hands around his arm, quivering, blinking through my tears at his handsome face. You just had a flipping bullet pulled out of your leg, and I need to calm down. Once we're settled in this warm silence, I look at him again and say, You took my breath away, literally. Did you really love me all those years ago? He grins, his face heating red behind his ears, and he cups my cheek with one hand. Hell yeah, I did. I loved you so much I had to let you go and make sure I never found my way back. He pauses, drawing a ragged breath. That's what I thought then, anyway. I thought I was doing what was right, protecting you, mostly from me. Turns out I was wrong about a lot of things. Oh yeah? I whisper. Like what? His eyes flash, total heat lightning again as he gazes through me. Like how my night got so damn dark, I forgot how to look up. I couldn't see what was always right in front of me. You were always my stars, Shell, all of them. You still are. And if you can ever forgive me for the foot-and-mouth bullshit I pulled before that freak snatched you away, I want you to shine down on me just like you did then. I want your light, your love, forever. But only if you think I'm worthy. Holy hell. So I expected a lot of things when I saw him on my doorstep. A fraught talk, a disastrous fight, a whole lot of groveling if he grew a heart bigger than a peanut. But this? Weston damn McKnight calling me his stars after he handed me his still-beating heart in those letters, those promises. He kept after all? I might not make it out of this room, not without passing out and spending a good, long spell, lifeless on the floor. But as always, his arms hold me up, gently cradling me like I'm a treasure he spent his whole life looking for. Tears melt my eyes, rolling down my cheeks in seething rivulets. This time, they're tears of happiness. Oh, Weston, West, of course you're worthy. I love you too. That's why I'm here, I say, smiling too wide for my face, so I could quit my job, ditch my apartment, and come home for good. But you were supposed to be at the hospital, or laid up at home. When I got back, I wanted to find you and tell you I'm never leaving Dallas again.
Unless you want to live somewhere else, then we'll both move there. I'll go anywhere you want. I'm babbling, trying to catch my breath in the emotional storm because my heart keeps pounding clear out of my chest. You, what? He asks, doing a double take. You came back here to quit your job? Yep, already handed in my resignation. I've got a flight back to Bismarck at noon tomorrow. That's where I left the Herbie parked. I planned on driving straight to Dickinson to see you in the hospital. Are you sure you're okay? Your leg must be hurting terribly. The leg's fine. I couldn't lounge around another second when I found out you left. I couldn't wait to see you. His hand slides around the back of my neck, my shoulders, his fingers flicking at my hair. Right now, I can't wait another second to do this. The instant his lips touch mine, my entire being melts at the incandescent love that burns me. It's like my heart springs open, finally free to release the love I've bottled up for this man for half a freaking lifetime. Love you, he whispers into my mouth as our lips separate. We press our foreheads together. I was so afraid I'd have a hard time convincing you to take a chance. These feelings are real, always have been, I say. I was straight up foolish. That's all there is to it. I knew you were falling hard for me years ago when you were still a kid. Knew it because I already felt an inkling of the same thing. But with our ages and our lives, I couldn't act. I had to give you a taste of life beyond that little town. Shit. What'll you do going back there? We don't even have a museum in the whole county. Oh, I'll figure something out. I have ideas, I say, feeling my lips twist in a smile as I run my hands down his wall of a chest. Also, you were right to make your move, even when I hated it. I never would have left Alice if you were around, maybe not even if you sent those letters. You were all I ever wanted, West. You still are. Shelley. Fuck. He grasps my shoulders gingerly, digging his thumbs into my skin, until I catch his eyes. You're all I ever wanted when I thought it was impossible. Also, there's more you need to know. More? My heart races. I don't want him to elaborate on things that hurt him, haunting memories for my sake. He's explained enough and he owes me nothing. I don't need every detail, I say. I know your time over there was rough, friends perished, and you needed time to heal. Just like you'll need time for your leg when you're not running across the country to Romeo me back to you. Whatever, Juliet. He grins. You know you like it. I do. I also understand. People need time and love and support to fully heal. That's what I want to give you. I'm proud of you for serving, and I'm proud as hell of how you're coping in a healthy way. Always raising money for other folks in need. All I need you knowing is how much I love you. I love who you were, who you are, and who you'll be. He kisses my nose. And I finally see the woman you've grown up to be. I see her, and I've fallen hard, right through the damn floor. He growls. Because it's him. I laugh at the sweet, snarly way it comes out. See? I'm not the same girl I was when you were writing those letters. I left town, saw more than I wanted. That happens in D.C., like it or not. And I'm mature enough to know what I want. You're stuck with me now because that's never changing, West. We'll have our ups and downs like everyone, I bet. But nothing has broken us so far. Not even a couple scummy creeps I had to fight off with nettles. If we got through that, we'll make it through anything. Sorry I was so stubborn for so damn long. I should have figured this out years ago. I loop my arms around his neck. Enough. We can spend the rest of our lives making up for lost time. His hands run up and down my sides, a hunger glinting in his eyes. I'll agree to that. My libido kicks in, but I tell myself to squelch it while telling him, hold on, cowboy. You've just come off a long flight when you shouldn't be traveling at all, and you have a bullet hole in your leg. So, he snorts. So, I give him a quick kiss. No fooling around until it's healed. Doctor's orders. Oh, hell. If you think a flesh wound will stop me from being in you, then you've still got shit to learn about me. Maybe so, I say with a grin, releasing my hold on his neck and standing up. You've heard of Nurse Ratched. I tug his hands off my waist. That's me until this leg is healed.
I hold his hand and pull. Come on, time to get you in bed. It's been a beautiful evening, but beautiful is kinda exhausting. He stiffens. Will you be joining me? You'd better, he means. I can hear it in his tone. Only to sleep, I say, fighting with everything I have to keep a straight face. We'll see about that, he grumbles. And we do. Before I can respond, his lips attack mine with a whirl of teeth and tongue. The groan that shakes my throat has me wondering if he'll always have this ability to demolish me with a single kiss. When his lips land on my throat and he pushes me against the wall, even with a bum leg, I have my answer. That's a big fat hell yes.
28. Getting piggy with it. Weston. I'm so hard I could fuck Shelley Simon straight through the wall. Kiss by vicious kiss, I strip her resistance and her clothes, falling out of mine as we stumble around the corner. She giggles, slipping into the bathroom with a look tossed over her shoulder that scalds my blood. I can't even feel the pain in my thigh anymore. I just feel my own cock straining like an attack dog on a leash, hungry to split her in two. Cursing, I shed the rest of my clothes in a fit and fall back on the bed, waiting for her to come out of that pinhole-sized bathroom. How long have you lived here? I call, needing a distraction to hold my sanity together.
Almost 2 years,
She answers through the closed door.
Why, are you already claustrophobic?
Hell yes, I answer, thankful again that she only came here to pack up. She giggles.
You get used to it eventually.
Bull, the back room office at my shop has more square footage, and it's basically a closet, I tell her. The door opens to her smiling silhouette. My dick jerks in my hand, my fist gliding down its length for her delight. She's wearing a tank top and shorts, which fit her to a T, but it's her neck that draws my eye like a magnet. The entire thing is black and blue. My frown becomes a snarl. I didn't think I could ever want to dismember a man 10 times over, but here we are. If I hadn't already put him in a cell, I'd murder Carson Bostrom. She knows where my gaze is, and must also know where my thoughts go, because as she flips back the covers, she says,
Don't worry, it's getting better. It'll fade soon, and it doesn't hurt that much.
I should have cut his grubby fingers off and fed them to Herc, I say harshly, touching her shoulder as she climbs in the bed. Shell, I'm so sorry.
No, don't apologize. You've done enough of that for one night.
Snuggling against me, all soft curves and auburn hair, she lays her head on my shoulder. It soothes my inner beast when I wish it wouldn't.
It wasn't your fault, West. It wasn't mine. It was Carson and that other scumbag's, and they're both getting what they deserve,
she whispers in the darkness. She's right, of course. Both of those pricks will be in prison for a long-ass time. I need to quit overthinking things and lurching toward madness. Still, there's one thing I need to know. Maybe so, but I've got a question.
Of course.
Where the hell did you get that nettle? Her laugh sounds as adorable as she looks.
Oh, that's easy. I plucked it out of the ground by the barn, but I didn't get a chance to throw it away before everything went nuts. It was still in my back pocket when I woke up in the semi.
Damn. I shake my head. Wait, why was it in your back pocket?
I shoved it there so I could pick up a bunch of cigarette butts off the ground. Carson's buddy wasn't very subtle. The guy smoked like a chimney, and I overheard them talking when they thought I was knocked out. I guess they planned on the big heist the night of the dance, but we showed up too soon and thwarted that plan.
I kissed the top of her head. We got lucky. Drake told me everything. Carson's little buddy is singing like a parrot, pinning all the blame on Bostrom, trying like hell for a lighter sentence. No honor among thieves.
Nope,
she agrees, kissing the side of my neck.
Thanks again for coming to my rescue.
You're welcome, but you also came to mine. If you hadn't attacked that maniac with the weed, his aim might have been better, and I'd have never gotten in the window and shut them down.
Partners in crime,
She says with a devilish grin. I slip a hand under her tank top, find her nipple, and roll it between my fingers. Out of crying too?
I like the sound of that. But I told you I'm Nurse Ratchet tonight.
Growling, I cup her breast, flicking her nipple harder. Nurses are supposed to make their patients feel better, right?
Sure, and keep them from any overstrenuous activities.
She says. I work the hem of her shirt up. I won't strain myself. I lie.
West, you have a hole in your leg.
Like I need a reminder. Lucky I don't need that leg to fuck you into next year. Before she can protest, I roll her on her back, pushing her shirt over her ample tits so I can suck each nipple. God damn, she tastes good. My tongue wants to map her from head to toe.
Weston,
I already got a condom from my wallet, I say, barely stopping to pull one pert nipple through my teeth, lavishing it, and moving to the second one. I say, you can take top if you're that worried. That won't hurt my leg at all. Her green eyes roll real sweet for me as she lets out a little moan.
I'm not sure we should. I'm just worried you'll... Oh, my flipping God.
Yeah, fuck. She's mine now. Tonight, tomorrow, the next 100 years, and then some. Even if I live to be 120, I will still get my wrinkled sponge of a dick inside this woman every night. I kick the covers off us with my good leg, exposing my hard-on again. See, we should. The condom is on the table beside the lamp.
Oh, my...
She runs a hand over my stomach.
But we don't have to...
We do, I rumble emphatically. Fuck my leg. You'll give me a stroke if I can't have you now.
No.
She pushes at my shoulders playfully, laughing.
I mean, we don't need the rubber. I'm protected, and I want to feel you tonight, West. All of you.
Damn. Whatever else I thought she'd give me tonight, I didn't think it'd be the gift of a lifetime. Going bare with her makes my balls itch with need, burning to empty themselves up her little pussy. I'm almost fucking drooling at the thought like a dog with a bone. Woman, I like when you take my ideas and make them better, I say, slipping my fingers inside her shorts and fingering her panties. I want to shred them, rubbing impatiently at her opening. She's already drenched, ready, her body begging for mine. She lets out a loud groan as I brush my thumb across her clit.
You just have to promise to lie still. Don't move your leg.
It doesn't hurt that bad, I throw back. She stops moving and gives me the evil eye.
Weston, promise.
Fine. I promise to be good even when I'm being so fucking bad to you. Her heated smile returns.
And I'll still be gentle. Let's take this slow.
Gentle? Slow? I ask in horror.
Yes.
She shimmies out of her bottoms, then straddles my waist, grabbing my cock from behind.
Gentle,
she repeats. My lust-drunk brain can't even comprehend the word, especially not as she squeezes me, tempting me to flip her over and take her the next second on my own terms. Damn it, I won't break another promise, though. Not tonight or ever. A minute later, as she's staring into my eyes, stroking me to hell and back, the damaged leg is the last thing on my mind. She goes slowly, languidly, taking her sweet time. I can't stand the anticipation and swat at her ass, grasping her waist as she makes a shocked sound. This is not gentle, lady. This is frigging torture, I say. She smiles and bites her lip with a look I wish I could carve into my brain. Then, careful to not touch my thigh, she lays her palms on my chest. Still holding her waist, I guide her down. We both groan like mad, baring our teeth, and then laugh as she slides down my swollen length.
I forgot how good you feel,
she whispers, pumping her hips. Yeah, fuck. The feeling is mutual. She feels so good I forget to breathe. Tell me about it, I snarl back.
Oh, I think I am.
She punches her hips down, engulfing me in a single stroke. Her eyelids flutter, and she tosses her head back with auburn hair flying like a lapping flame. We both luxuriate in this moment so hard I'm not sure either of us have a pulse. I fight the urge to slam up into her, no easy task, tightening my grip on her ass each time she rises and crashes back down on me again. I let my arms do the work my damaged leg can't. Stroke by stroke, we find our rhythm, me guiding her down on my cock each time with punishing thrusts. I'm flinging her up and down my body as she whimpers, fucking her just like a toy. She may be so much more than that tonight, and forever, but fuck if I don't enjoy using her like this. Her clit hits my pubic bone, grinding into the friction each time she comes down. I love how her face scrunches with ecstasy.
Oh, West,
she whimpers.
West.
Come on, Shelley, give it up for me. I grip her ass so hard the blood leaves my hands, pumping her up and down on my shaft. Give it. A second later, she does. Her beautiful body tilts back, muscles taut, her tits heaving as her face screws up, and the pleasure leaves her breathless. It's insane I don't come when I feel her squirt. Her wet heat spattering my skin makes me bare my teeth. I want to eat her alive, every fucking bit of her, every way possible.
West!
She whines my name, still bobbing her hips through her convulsions, riding the high. She comes for what seems like forever, giving up her energy and rolling the whites of her eyes. When she finally settles on me with shaking palms on my chest and a bedeviled look in her eye, I take her lips, grounding her with a kiss like molten lava. You good? I ask, breaking away.
God, yeah, shit.
She pauses with my dick in her to the hilt, wiping her brow.
I think I could stay right here forever.
No complaint if you do, I joke, winning a crooked grin from her. She leans down with her eyelids fluttering shut, covers my mouth with hers, and gives me a kiss that's all tongue and heat and love. As she pulls her mouth away, she raises her hips, lowering onto me again with a whisper.
I could sit on you like a boulder, or I could move like this.
She does it again, pushing a flash of teasing tongue between her teeth.
And this.
Fuck. Unable to resist, I thrust up inside her like a sword as she punches down again, reaching behind her head to tangle a wild mane of that fire-red hair in my fist. She plants both hands on my chest and levels a serious look.
Rules, mister. You aren't supposed to move.
I wasn't. That's just my body reacting to yours. I lie, a split second from throwing her under me and fucking her through the floor.
That's not allowed. You have to lie perfectly still.
Grumbling, I grasp her hips and lean up just enough to tease one nipple. Your rules are impossible. I lift her up and lower her, thrusting deeper as she stops fighting, melting into my strokes. I impale her again on my cock, obsessed with the ecstasy shining on her face.
Just be careful,
she whimpers between harsh gasps each time I graze the bead of her clit. She's lucky I'm willing to give her anything, because if it weren't for the wound, I'd have her flat on her back and pinned down, her clit held hostage on my tongue till she screams. Her pussy squeezes me like a silk vice, causing this mad friction as I move faster, lifting and lowering her, guiding her movements with that fist in her hair. She lets out a heady growl.
Weston, we're supposed to be...
Another pleasure growl chokes her off,
Be careful. This is too
perfect, I suggest, holding her hips tight against me, pumping into her faster, moving my weight with my good leg. Fuck yeah, it is. And you're gonna come for me harder than last time, woman.
Yes!
God damn, do I love how feral she sounds when she screams it. With her head thrown back and her breasts bouncing like hell, I prepare for the fireworks. But before we go over, I take one nipple in my mouth, sucking hard as I feel her body tensing, so ready to ignite for me. I'm about to explode too, but hold back, flicking my tongue against her butt as I slide a rough hand between us and find her clit. Her entire fucking being convulses, her pussy locking down on me as she lets out a shriek that shreds right through these paper-thin walls. No more. I've hit my limit. Still pumping, I bury myself inside her with a growl, and my balls on fire, every muscle I own snapping as my cock swells in her depths. Shelly! I'm roaring her name a split second ahead of her release before mine takes me so far from anything recognizably human. We come together like a disembodied storm. Thunder, lightning, force. This relentless inferno races up my balls, hurling out of me in ropes, adding my molten heat to hers. I know she feels my cum when she opens her mouth to scream, but she can only gasp. That's when I mark her. Just lean in and sink my teeth into her shoulder, firm enough to feel it, but not to break the skin. Yes, I am a shameless lunatic for this woman. Always have been, always will be. Always gonna own her inside and out, every single molecule. We come for ages like something wild off its chains, as if my entire body knows it's now free to have all of her, to keep her, to love her like she's always deserved. We're free to spend the rest of our lives loving like this. The entire experience is so flawless, so spectacular, I'm boneless when it ends. Shell collapses on top of me, kissing my chest softly. She lies there with me, still inside her, barely deflating as we both gasp for air. Suddenly, all I'm thinking about is my jeans. They contain the other reason I came here in person, and I have to find them, but not before I enjoy her mouth, kissing her slowly as I trace her lips into my brain for life, and gently take away every gentle, happy tear rolling down her cheeks. When we're both over the euphoria and able to breathe again, she lifts her head.
How are you?
She asks, green eyes sparkling shyly. Fucking spectacular. I'm not sure any romp can outshine that. She laughs and kisses me briskly again.
We have a lifetime to find out, don't we?
For a second, we stare into each other's eyes. Do I really want to do it like this? I wonder. Am I actually frigging nervous? Kissing her slowly while I get my shit together, I hold her tight and say, "Yeah, about that."
I love you,
she whispers, settling her head on my chest. I take a deep breath as I kiss her forehead. Time to make my move. Before flying out here, I had Grady make a special stop without fully knowing how I'd do it. I thought we'd go out, maybe to the steps of DC's many monuments, or maybe I'd pick a gorgeous tree in a park lit up like autumn. Now none of that makes sense. There's a fire in my chest that screams, "Do not fucking wait." Now I know this is it. Still holding her tight with one hand, I reach over the side of the bed, feeling for where I left my jeans. I find them a second later and rummage around in the pocket. It's surprising how such a small thing can feel like it weighs more than an engine block. I love you too, Shell. Forever, I say as I pull it out. She lifts her head and smiles.
You don't even know how long I've dreamed of hearing you say that.
Probably as long as I wanted to say it, and now I'll never stop. You make me the man I thought I couldn't be after the war. You make me better. And with you by my side, Shelley, I know I'll always be the very best I can be, even if I'll always suck an egg at words. I know common sense says I should wait. We should slow down, take it easy, take time to find ourselves before I drop a bomb on you this big, but fuck, you know that's never been my style. And we've spent too long waiting thanks to me. We've lost too much precious time for me to sit around wasting more. My throat feels raw.
Weston, what do you mean?
She whispers, her eyes shining up at me like smooth jade, adoring and patient. What I'm trying to say is this. Brushing her chin with my knuckles, I turn my hand over, slowly opening my fingers so she can see what I'm holding. Will you marry me, Rochelle Simon? Marry me soon? Her mouth drops open in this long silence. There's this killing second where I worry she's about to let me down easy, to tell me to cool it. Shit, I knew this was stupid, too fast, and now I've probably blown my chance to... She springs up before I know what's happening, closing the distance separating us, her arms pinned around my sides.
Weston, yes, and yes, I'll marry you tonight if you want.
My eyes pop open as I hug her back with a gravity bigger than my life. Hot damn. I never guessed she'd come at me with this bubbling enthusiasm bigger than my own. We need a preacher, or at least a judge, I think. Can't imagine there's one hiding in this apartment, I say through a smile that strains my face. She laughs.
No, but you know what I mean.
I also think we'd be a lot happier doing it in another town that starts with a D, I say, running my fingers slowly through her hair. Plus, you didn't see the ring yet.
I didn't need to.
She slaps my chest playfully.
It could be an onion ring and I'd still say yes.
Lucky me. Think you'll like this better than any junk food ring, though. Chuckling, I open the box. Her breath escapes in a sweet puff.
Oh, man. Oh, God, Weston, it's gorgeous.
The way her eyes shine tells me how much she means it. I just knew. The second I saw it, this ring sang her name. Uncle Grady and Marty both gave me crap for flipping my lid over jewelry, but I was justified. This is Shell. This is how we'll symbolize the rest of our lives. The Art Deco design looks intricate and old-fashioned. The single diamond in the center was cut nearly 100 years ago in Europe, giving it age and brilliance. It reminded me of you. I pull it from the box, and then take her hand to slide the ring on her finger, so slowly and gently it feels like she's made of glass.
I absolutely love it,
she says, watching as I glide it into place.
But where on earth did you ever find it?
An antique store just outside Bismarck. Had to fly out of there anyway, and we drove in with time to spare. I thought I'd find the perfect ring there rather than a jewelry store. Gotta thank Thelma later for giving me your size, I say with a wink. She laughs like it's the funniest joke in the world.
You know me so well. So well. I love it, and I love you.
She's still staring at the jewelry, her face lit up like Christmas.
Wow. I'm guessing this must be circa early 20th century, like 1920 or so.
I pull the little tag out of the bottom of the box and read it. 1921, Tiffany's engagement ring, Paris.
Dang, I thought it looked like a Tiffany,
she says with excitement. You were spot on. Now tell me when you want a wedding date, I say, slapping her butt playfully. She smiles.
As soon as your leg's healed and before the holidays.
Start planning now. I'm sure we'll have folks beating down the door to pitch in, I say. You'd be amazed at how good I'm already feeling. Must have something to do with having the world's best and sexiest nurse.
29. High off the hog. Rochelle. I really must be the best nurse, I say 10 days later, as we're leaving the doctor's office in Dickinson. Don't forget sexiest, he growls, pulling me closer to his side as we walk to his pickup. The doctor said his wound is healing remarkably fast, and he won't need to worry about a follow-up for a few months unless the injury flares up. It's such a relief, I say. Can't believe I feel so refreshed. It hasn't even been 2 weeks since I almost got murdered, saved by a pig, and a marriage proposal. Hercules helped, he grumbles. We've only been back a few days, and I think you've made a big dent in that year's worth of grub I promised him. The little guy's part monkey. He devours bananas by the bushel, I say, feeling myself go doe-eyed every time Hercules comes up. It's a sweet bonus that I'm marrying a man with a 100-pound baby. He'll be getting mighty spoiled by Aunt Faye soon enough when we're on our honeymoon, he says. I haven't had a week off in years till recently. Feels damn good to almost have back-to-back vacations, especially when they're with you. You're too sweet, I whisper. I'm glad we stayed a few days in D.C. too. I squeeze his fingers. With a quick tweak of our plane tickets, we checked into a nice hotel for the better part of a week. That was plenty of time for me to drag him around to every museum and monument in the city, the Capitol, the fancy restaurants I like, and the barbecue places he loved, ending with a heart-wrenching visit to Arlington National Cemetery, Section 60. It's the place where they bury veterans of the most recent wars. Even if he didn't know anyone laid to rest there personally, he knew their loss, and he was in such good company with several other young men and their families, quietly strolling through the graves and stopping for murmured words of respect. As we left behind those silent, bone-white headstones behind, he pulled me so close and kissed me so sweetly, I almost died. How could I ever forget what he said? Thank you, he whispered, his voice torn. Thank you, baby, for getting me out of that hole. I didn't need to ask what he meant. I knew. And I think we both sensed the weight lifting off him like Atlas set free. It still makes me cry, knowing I gave Weston a new chance at life, and he'll repay me 1,000 times over. After flying home first class from D.C., we had a nice, long, hilariously cramped ride in the Love Bug before settling in at his place. It wasn't 5 minutes before Faye and Graham came bursting through the door with a squealing Hercules on his dog leash. I'll never know who was screeching louder, the old women or the pig. We grilled outside and basically let them throw together our wedding logistics. I'm not hung up on style as long as it's with him. Flash forward several hectic days later, and here we are, sharing the first glimpse of our last forever. At the truck, he gives me a solid, grateful kiss before opening the door for me. Need to stop anywhere else? Not a lot of time left to pick up essentials before the big day. I laugh as I climb in. Oh, I've had so much help planning this wedding. I'm sure we're covered. Between Graham, Faye, and Granny Coffee, I think I've got a memory like a herd of elephants. No exaggeration. Between the town's 3 senior cupids, plus a hand from Grace, Bella, Tori, and Willow, I've barely done more than mumble, "Yep, I agree," to their suggestions. All fine by me. I've happily continued playing nurse with West until this doctor's visit today. Also, Faye spends so much time at Amelia's since her head healed that she's practically living there with Graham. With her help cleaning and Marty taking over accounting, it's pretty much freed me up to move right into Weston's house. Permanently. It couldn't be more perfect when I can pop over to the B&B if needed, and after our big hallelujah and honeymoon, I'll work some extra hours there while I figure out my next move. All right then. We'll head back home then. Just 2 more days, he says with a boyish smile. Can you believe it? Best friends to man and wife. I pinch my elbow in an exaggerated motion that makes us both laugh. Seriously, though, I've been counting down the seconds until I'm Mrs. McKnight. To my great delight, I'll be wearing Graham's wedding dress. We only needed a quick alteration since my size isn't too far off from hers when she was younger. another dream come true. I used to imagine wearing that dress someday, almost as long as I've daydreamed about marrying Weston. When we're roughly halfway home, I take a deep breath and settle in my seat, pretending to sleep. I'm safe, I'm secure, I'm about to marry the man who's always made dreams worth having. If this is real life, God let me live. And if this is just some surreal fever dream, never let me wake up. I'm still dreaming several days later as soaring music floats through the air like perfume. The beat matches the legion of smiles bursting at the seams. If half the town hasn't turned out for this, I'll be shocked. Marty looks sharpened, more grown up than I've ever seen him in my life, with a charcoal gray suit and a pride in his eyes that makes me want to cry. We decided he'll stand in for Dad, so he does the honors, escorting me down the aisle where my destiny awaits. Weston stands there like my own personal Mr. Darcy, his face tight with so much emotion, excitement, nervousness, his usual dash of grump. And is that awe? Oh my God, he's looking at me, isn't he? You'd need to set off a glitter bomb to peel my eyes off him. He's wearing a vintage black and silver pinstriped suit with black and white wing-tipped shoes. Handsome isn't strong enough a word. He's so flipping fire, as the cool kids say, that my heart might never restart. The entire wedding has a lovely roaring 20s theme, with the women in colorful flapper garb and the men dressed up like gangsters and tycoons from the era. It was his idea, and it was total catnip I gobbled up the instant he suggested it. My dashing groom is also a catnip overdose. Thankfully, I only go lightheaded for 10 long seconds before remembering how much I love him, buzzing with a high that already has me happy crying. Dear Lord, how will we even make it through the ceremony? Somehow, as I slip my hand in his and we mold our fingers tight, I remember my courage. Even as we share our vows, I shiver with the glorious reality that I'm actually getting hitched to this man. First come the traditional familiar lines everybody knows, followed by original promises we've both written. You've always been the hero of my dreams, West, I tell him, blubbering into the mic. I've loved you since I was 12 years old, when you made me want cookies. I could rattle off some sappy jokes about chocolate chips, but I'll leave that for you. I'm ready for a lifetime of laughter, love, and so many dumb dad jokes, I'm ready to be your wife. I only cry a little, okay? That dancing gleam in his sky blue eyes helps me keep my crap together. Not a dry eye in the room. So we're doing something right, he says, taking the mic and a good, slow glance at our peanut gallery. Even the wedding cake's in tears. I groan, face-palming while laughter rips through the crowd. Of course he wants to start off a life of bad jokes now. Of course. Shell, if I'm your dream, then you're my reason for living. You gave me something to care about the day I talked you into stuffing your face with Thelma's chocolate chip cookies. Years later, you gave me a damn good reason to care about cookies again. Plus everything else that matters. But especially you. He pauses, exhaling so slowly it hurts, and pins my gaze in place. You taught me to look up when all I could see was night. So if you'll have me, if you'll do me the highest honor, be my stars, Shell. Be my moon, be the air I breathe, be my sunrise and the strumming beat in my pulse. Above all else, be mine. Holy hell, if I weren't decked out in this gorgeous old dress, I'd be leaping into his arms and kissing him until he topples over. It's only because he nods with a secret smile as a rush of whispers come through the crowd that I'm able to turn away from him. My tears blur into manic laughter when I see the ring exchange isn't exactly what we planned. Apparently, he's full of surprises today. Wearing a silky bow tie that flutters like a ribbon, Hercules prances up the aisle like the prized hero hog that he is, with a tall, smiling Grady McKnight holding his leash. When they both reach us, Herc lets out an impatient snort. "Get on with it, guys," I imagine him saying, and it just makes me laugh that much harder. I hear Grady lean over to Weston and whisper, Aunt Faye said he wouldn't, but I didn't trust that hog to not eat your wedding bands. So, here." As the laughter and murmurs die down, Hercules plops down near the altar with a grunt, and Weston takes my hand. I'm brought back to the heady magic as he slides the wedding band on my finger, a simple vintage beauty that complements my engagement ring nicely. My turn. I take an antique wedding ring of my own I've picked out and push it down his thick finger. "Congratulations," the preacher man says. "You may now." Oh, baby, we're sealing this union before he's done. Our lips bristle with a passion that could send smoke signals through the room. After we manage to break apart for air, we make our way down the aisle hand in hand, with Herc trotting at our side. I toss my bouquet into the crowd before climbing into the monster truck with help from West. The beast is tricked out today, plastered with "Just Married" decals, streamers, and a tremendous line of metal garbage cans behind us. They bounce on the road like our own private drummers as we drive away. There's actually a parade of monster trucks and other vehicles, honking horns and revving engines, all the way to the fairgrounds. The reception awaits in the massive guest building there, including Hercules, who rides in a trailer behind Faye's van. She's super excited to be a short walk away from her baby bowling ball every day. She jumped at the chance to look after him while we're busy with the honeymoon. Although she hasn't said it, I'm sure she's planning on living at the B&B full-time, rather than any senior complex. Everyone's happy about that. The reception is a treasure with practically the whole town attending. I thank everyone who worked so hard to put this together on such short notice, even as they insist that's what family and friends do. They're not just being modest. Dallas is the kindest place ever. I'm insanely lucky to be one half of its latest happy couple. The dancing continues in full swing long after dinner when Weston takes over the mic, thanks everyone for coming, and tells them we'll be home in a couple weeks. While the crowd claps their hands off, I ask him, "A couple weeks? I thought we only had 1 week. What's this?" He looks at me, sly and sexy as ever. "I told you the wedding was all yours, minus the pig surprise I knew you'd appreciate. The honeymoon's all mine." Kissing me, he takes my hand and adds, "It's time to get started." I'm so game for whatever he's got in mind, cradling his hand with both of mine as we make our way to the door. There, I'm beyond stunned. Wait, what? A helicopter? I blink slowly. "Yep, I told Drake and Bella they'd get it back without a scratch on it. Your bags are already inside," he says. "Where exactly are we going?" He stops, cradling my face so delicately under the moon, worshipping me with a slow, heartwarming kiss before he answers. "You'll see, baby. Trust me with the surprises." 2 days later, we disembark from a boat on the island of Kiribati in the South Pacific. The resort feels like some sort of fantasy island, full of tropical plants and birds, velvety sand, and the soulful sky-blue sea. But it's my husband who makes it feel like an honest-to-God fairy tale. Staring at the turquoise waters in nothing but a swimsuit, I can't take my eyes off him as he emerges from the ocean like a merman king, striding to meet me where I'm lying on the sandy beach, soaking up the sun. He planned everything so well. First, the helicopter to Bismarck, complete with champagne, where we spent our wedding night before 2 long connecting flights, and a boat ride brought us here. I'm still shuddering with awe. "Enjoying yourself, seashell?" he asks, dripping water as he kisses me before plopping down on the stand at my side. "You must be. You're more beautiful than ever." "I'm with you, brown noser," I answer. "Is there anything better than that?" "Just one thing I can think of," he says, tugging me down beside him on the towel. "Loving you." I sigh beyond overflowing. "I just love the way you love me," I whisper. "Never, ever stop." "I'd have to be dead," he growls, running his thick hands down my back. His kisses start slow, but soon have me quaking with desire. The beach is off a private alcove, all part of our breathtaking honeymoon bungalow, and I have no qualms whatsoever about making the most of our privacy in paradise.
Rolling on top of him, I run my tongue up the side of his neck, whispering, "You're in trouble for that seashell crap." Trouble? Why do I like the sound of that? You should. I'm about to yank your trunks off so you can sink your cock deep inside me. I'll even let the nickname slide if you lend me an O or two. With a devilish grin, he cups my butt with both hands. "Baby, I'll lend you 10. Laughing, I straddle him, sitting up and unhooking my bikini top. "Careful, that sounds like a threat." "It's a promise," he throws back, sinking his teeth into my bottom lip. "Now open your legs." His wandering hand demands more than his words, pulling my thighs apart. Exhaling, I toss my top aside and stand, shimmying out of my bottoms before I grasp his trunks and jerk them off while he's still on the towel. God, he's so hard, so ready, aching for me so intently I can feel it. There's no thrill in the world like knowing you're wanted by the man who becomes your everything. As I plant my knees next to his hips again, he grasps my waist. "You're shaking, Shell. You want me inside you that bad," he growls, adding another nip of teeth to my lip. "Please, now." I settle on top of him again, a position that's becoming a favorite among many ever since he hurt his leg, and lower myself down, teasing the head of his cock. "Too slow," he growls, lunging up and stealing my breath as he sinks deep inside me. Delicious. The first 10 greedy strokes nearly send me spinning over the edge. Releasing the moan in my throat, I deepen our kiss, dragging my nails down his chest. He gives back a lion's purr that vibrates against my tongue. This man knows my body too well, and he's hell-bent on reminding me. Weston takes my nipple against his tongue, brushing it with pleasure, while his upward thrusts swing so hard his balls smack my ass. I whimper against his face, my own personal Lucifer, and he knows exactly what to do and when. It's not long before I'm the one being punished with quickening thrusts and a sweet, stinging friction on my clit. "West," I whine, my breath deserting me along with my soul. I can't take any more. So I arch my back, bracing to take him as deep and as hard as I can before my climax hits. Coming. The O is a lightning bolt, a whip, a white-hot rhapsody that curls my toes into the sand. The sun kissing my bare skin adds something extra, this visceral warmth that makes me feel like I'm airborne, far away from every care in the world except for the God under me. And I've barely begun coming when that God I married looks at me with a ferocious expression. His eyes are glowing slits, his muscles are stone. His teeth could swallow me in one bite. Oh my freaking God. He's about to. "Shell, fuck," he roars. "Don't you stop. Keep that pussy coming." And I do, barely holding my eyes open to see him when he comes undone. My climax becomes an ongoing cluster of ecstasy, one raging hit after the next, as he thrusts into me again and again. A guttural rasp leaves his throat like a breeding bull in rut. We're quaking, panting, a tangle of limbs until we're utterly drained. Emphasis on drained. I'm overflowing with him by the end. And there's something weirdly enjoyable about knowing I'll be leaking him all evening. Insane? Yes. And it's our insanity. I'll never get tired of him thieving such delight from my bones. As my body shudders once more, the last of my pleasure fading, I collapse on him, exhausted and blissfully happy. My cheek nuzzles his chest. "That was so good, I need a nap. Right here." He kisses the top of my head. "Get your beauty sleep. I'll wake you up in half an hour," he whispers. I give him a suspicious look. "What for? Another surprise?" "You'll see," he says so flatly it's basically an admission. I laugh. "Weston, when you said that before, it meant a helicopter ride and 2 long jet flights around the world." His chest rumbles with low laughter. He caresses my side. "No chopper this time, but there might be a boat involved." "A boat? Why?" "Rest, and you'll see." He tugs me forward, holding me to his chest. "Take your nap. The sooner you sleep, the the faster you'll see. Dick, I slap his shoulder. Like I can nap now. Where are we going in another boat? He flips me over so I'm the one on the ground with him on top. Shelley McKnight, you will not ruin this surprise. If I have to fuck you the whole time till it's ready, just so you're distracted, I will. Slade. He just ended me right here, but I managed to kiss him and push at his huge shoulders. Let's get up and go back to the bungalow. We should get ready if it's a huge deal. You have time for your beauty sleep, he warns. Nope, I'm wide awake now, so I'll trade nap time for a shower. Then, because that sounds like heaven, I add, get off me and I might share said shower. Smiling, he jumps off of me, proving once again just how healed his leg is. We grab our belongings and jog up to our bungalow naked. We do share the shower. I guess I'm glad because he torments me with another rush of delirious sexy time up against the tiled wall, and he's as good as his word about occupying my attention until it's time. We're barely dressed when the electric golf cart shows up to take us to the main resort lodge. I'm afraid my face might stick because I can't stop grinning. It's not just whatever ridiculous, totally over-the-top thing he has planned either. It's him, and this wild epiphany. It's knowing that Weston freaking McKnight and his mischief are mine forever. It turns out the boat is more of a full-sized yacht, fancier than the ferry that brought us to the main island. When I realize where we are and that we're heading for the Phoenix Islands, I freak. Aghast with awe, I stare at Weston, who gives me a smile that's way too calm. Now it makes sense, I splutter. That's why you chose this place for the honeymoon, isn't it? He shrugs. I figured someone who's a sweet-ass history dork and lives in a town where the Earhart name's plastered all over might like seeing Amelia Earhart's last known resting place. Nicomororo? I ask, gushing with excitement. We're going to Nicomororo? Damn right, he says with a solemn nod, pulling his olive green U.S. Army hat lower by the brim. He truly knows me inside and out. I hug him like I'm about to break because I am. But as always, his kiss puts me back together. Unbelievable, I whisper, knowing I'll repeat it 10 more times before today ends. Worth it, because the entire day is unreal. The islands are gorgeous, and our guide is an open vault of information. She shows us the exact spot where they found 13 bones, just recently matched with DNA, confirming they once belonged to the famous aviator, Dallas legend, and namesake of Graham's livelihood. I'm in total awe and can't shut up about how badly I can't wait to get home and tell everyone about being here. As we head back to the beach after a whirlwind tour, our guide leaves, telling us our ship will depart in the next hour and we're free to look around until then. The smile she gives Weston before she darts away makes me wonder if, like me, she thinks he's the most hottest man alive. I'm not even jealous. He's shown me 100 times over that he belongs to me and always will. With my hand clasped in his, we walk a short distance. Soon, I spot an odd circle of whitish stones stacked neatly on the sand. Huh. Almost looks like a sign of sorts, I say, staring at the rocks. Maybe it's pirate treasure, he says, squeezing my hand. Better get digging, Shelley. What? It might be a grave or a memorial. This place is pretty private. Also, there were never any records of pirates in these parts, I say matter-of-factly. I've got some bad news for you, he says, thumping his chest and tugging his hat brim over one eye. Yar, they call me Pigbeard of the Phoenix Islands. He shifts into this snarling pirate accent that makes me laugh. And if you wanna make it back to your favorite oinker alive, ye'd best get digging, seashell. Idiot, I whisper affectionately, pushing away from him as he pulls his hat back up with a grin. Don't make me do that again, he chuckles. Seriously, check it out. Maybe it's a new treasure laid down for someone to discover today. Oh, yeah? Like who? I know who, he's getting it, but I'm having so much fun I don't want it to end. Only one way to find out, he tells me. Is that why the guide looked at you like that? I ask. Like the two of you had a secret? He shrugs, sitting down near the rocks with a dead-eyed look for me.
Get your cute butt over here and dig, he growls. I flop down next to him then, pushing away some sand in the center of the rocks. It looks like the top of something, a small wooden chest. Curious, I dig deeper and lift the chest out of the sand. What's this? What did you do? I ask. That's your wedding present. Really? I ask, touched by his thoughtfulness. He nods solemnly. Lifting back the lid, I stare at what looks like a large metallic skeleton key in the bottom, then look up at him. He lifts it out of the box for me. This key still works on the doors inside. Doors? Aunt Faye's house, he says, wagging a finger like it's all obvious. Okay, odd. I take the heavy key, passing it back and forth, thinking as I feel its weight. Why give me a key that works on some doors at your aunt's place? Because it's your house now, Shell. I drummed up a few donations and pitched in myself to buy it from Faye. All for you. He pauses, kissing me again. All for my adorable, dorky, history-obsessed wife. There's a new account waiting for you, too, already loaded with cash from everybody who cares about preserving memories. The Barnetts and Larkins alone tossed in enough to keep things going without making a dime for at least the next 5 years. So turn my aunt's place into Dallas's own museum, whatever you decide to call it. Mind blown. I slap a hand over my mouth and try not to short-circuit in his arms. Besides screaming with glee, I don't know what to say or do, or how I can ever repay him. You're serious. This isn't one of your silly jokes. My jokes are dumb as hell. But when are they cruel? He says with a smirk. Seriously? I whisper. Seriously, baby. Oh my. An ecstatic sob steals my voice. I kiss him, hug him, scratch him like I'm an overstimulated puppy. Laughing, he grabs my wrists, urging calm. Easy. There's just one little hitch you should know about. What? Anything. I don't think anything could ever ruin this, West. Good. Because Aunt Faye wants a job at the museum when it opens. He says, done. I laugh, sinking into his arms again, forever my safe harbor. She can teach Hercules to tap dance for a special exhibit for all I care. Just 1 day a week, he says. She can't work much more than that because she'll be busy enough at the B&B. I throw myself at him again so hard, he loses his balance. We actually tumble over into the sand together. You have no idea how much I love you, dream man, I say. Shit. Just don't start calling me that, he says with a booming laugh. And I know you love me. Without even trying, you make me feel like the luckiest dude in the universe. Oh, good, because you're stuck with Mrs. Luckiest. I'm stuck with a pig, he grumbles, and I laugh because he can't hide his affection for the third wheel of our family anymore. You, I choose every damn day. You'll be my first, second, third, and 1,000th pick forever. Have I mentioned I love this man? Later, we definitely both get luckier, back in our bungalow and surrounded with glowing candles. Every naked kiss reaffirms our pact as the worst best friends. We were never meant for longing, and now that we're together, I'll never want for anything else. This concludes The Worst Best Friend by Nicole Snow, narrated by C.J. Bloom and Jason Clark. Copyright 2021 by Nicole Snow. This unabridged audiobook is published by arrangement with Nicole Snow, care of Brower Literary and Management, and was produced in the year 2022 by Tantor Media Incorporated, a division of Recorded Books which holds the copyright thereto. Please visit tantor.com for more information on our growing library of unabridged audiobooks.
Audible hopes you have enjoyed this program.
see the ring exchange isn't exactly what we planned. Apparently, he's full of surprises today. Wearing a silky bow tie that flutters like a ribbon, Hercules prances up the aisle like the prized hero hog that he is, with a tall, smiling Grady McKnight holding his leash. When they both reach us, Herc lets out an impatient snort. "Get on with it, guys," I imagine him saying, and it just makes me laugh that much harder. I hear Grady lean over to Weston and whisper, "Aunt Faye said he wouldn't, but I didn't trust that hog to not eat your wedding bands, so here." As the laughter and murmurs die down, Hercules plops down near the altar with a grunt, and Weston takes my hand. I'm brought back to the heady magic as he slides the wedding band on my finger, a simple vintage beauty that complements my engagement ring nicely. My turn. I take an antique wedding ring of my own I've picked out and push it down his thick finger. "Congratulations," the preacher man says. "You may now." Oh, baby, we're sealing this union before he's done. Our lips bristle with a passion that could send smoke signals through the room. After we manage to break apart for air, we make our way down the aisle hand in hand, with Herc trotting at our side. I toss my bouquet into the crowd before climbing into the monster truck with help from West. The beast is tricked out today, plastered with "Just Married" decals, streamers, and a tremendous line of metal garbage cans behind us. They bounce on the road like our own private drummers as we drive away. There's actually a parade of monster trucks and other vehicles, honking horns and revving engines, all the way to the fairgrounds. The reception awaits in the massive guest building there, including Hercules, who rides in a trailer behind Faye's van. She's super excited to be a short walk away from her baby bowling ball every day. She jumped at the chance to look after him while we're busy with the honeymoon. Although she hasn't said it, I'm sure she's planning on living at the B&B full time, rather than any senior complex. Everyone's happy about that. The reception is a treasure with practically the whole town attending. I thank everyone who worked so hard to put this together on such short notice, even as they insist that's what family and friends do. They're not just being modest. Dallas is the kindest place ever. I'm insanely lucky to be one half of its latest happy couple. The dancing continues in full swing long after dinner when Weston takes over the mic, thanks everyone for coming, and tells them we'll be home in a couple weeks. While the crowd claps their hands off, I ask him, "A couple weeks? I thought we only had 1 week. What's this?" He looks at me, sly and sexy as ever. "I told you the wedding was all yours, minus the pig surprise I knew you'd appreciate. The honeymoon's all mine." Kissing me, he takes my hand and adds, "It's time to get started." I'm so game for whatever he's got in mind, cradling his hand with both of mine as we make our way to the door. There, I'm beyond stunned. Wait, what? A helicopter? I blink slowly. "Yep, I told Drake and Bella they'd get it back without a scratch on it. Your bags are already inside," he says. "Where exactly are we going?" He stops, cradling my face so delicately under the moon, worshipping me with a slow, heartwarming kiss before he answers. "You'll see, baby. Trust me with the surprises." 2 days later, we disembark from a boat on the island of Kiribati in the South Pacific. The resort feels like some sort of fantasy island, full of tropical plants and birds, velvety sand, and the soulful sky-blue sea. But it's my husband who makes it feel like an honest-to-God fairy tale. Staring at the turquoise waters in nothing but a swimsuit, I can't take my eyes off him as he emerges from the ocean like a merman king, striding to meet me where I'm lying on the sandy beach, soaking up the sun. He planned everything so well. First, the helicopter to Bismarck, complete with champagne, where we spent our wedding night before 2 long connecting flights, and a boat ride brought us here. I'm still shuddering with awe. "Enjoying yourself, seashell?" he asks, dripping water as he kisses me before plopping down on the stand at my side. "You must be. You're more beautiful than ever." "I'm with you, brown noser," I answer. "Is there anything better than that?" "Just one thing I can think of," he says, tugging me down beside him on the towel. Loving you. I sigh, beyond overflowing. I just love the way you love me, I whisper. Never, ever stop. I'd have to be dead, he growls, running his thick hands down my back. His kisses start slow, but soon have me quaking with desire. The beach is off a private alcove, all part of our breathtaking honeymoon bungalow, and I have no qualms whatsoever about making the most of our privacy in paradise. Rolling on top of him, I run my tongue up the side of his neck, whispering, You're in trouble for that seashell crap. Trouble? Why do I like the sound of that? You should. I'm about to yank your trunks off so you can sink your cock deep inside me. I'll even let the nickname slide if you lend me an O or two. With a devilish grin, he cups my butt with both hands. Baby, I'll lend you 10. Laughing, I straddle him, sitting up and unhooking my bikini top. Careful, that sounds like a threat. It's a promise, he throws back, sinking his teeth into my bottom lip. Now open your legs. His wandering hand demands more than his words, pulling my thighs apart. Exhaling, I toss my top aside and stand, shimmying out of my bottoms before I grasp his trunks and jerk them off while he's still on the towel. God, he's so hard, so ready, aching for me so intently I can feel it. There's no thrill in the world like knowing you're wanted by the man who becomes your everything. As I plant my knees next to his hips again, he grasps my waist. You're shaking, Shell. You want me inside you that bad, he growls, adding another nip of teeth to my lip. Please, now. I settle on top of him again, a position that's becoming a favorite among many ever since he hurt his leg, and lower myself down, teasing the head of his cock. Too slow, he growls, lunging up and stealing my breath as he sinks deep inside me. Delicious. The first 10 greedy strokes nearly send me spinning over the edge. Releasing the moan in my throat, I deepen our kiss, dragging my nails down his chest. He gives back a lion's purr that vibrates against my tongue. This man knows my body too well, and he's hell-bent on reminding me. Weston takes my nipple against his tongue, brushing it with pleasure, while his upward thrusts swing so hard his balls smack my ass. I whimper against his face, my own personal Lucifer, and he knows exactly what to do and when. It's not long before I'm the one being punished with quickening thrusts and a sweet, stinging friction on my clit. West, I whine, my breath deserting me along with my soul. I can't take any more. So I arch my back, bracing to take him as deep and as hard as I can before my climax hits. Coming. The O is a lightning bolt, a whip, a white-hot rhapsody that curls my toes into the sand. The sun kissing my bare skin adds something extra, this visceral warmth that makes me feel like I'm airborne, far away from every care in the world except for the God under me. And I've barely begun coming when that God I married looks at me with a ferocious expression. His eyes are glowing slits, his muscles are stone. His teeth could swallow me in one bite. Oh my freaking God. He's about to. Shell. Fuck, he roars. Don't you stop. Keep that pussy coming. And I do, barely holding my eyes open to see him when he comes undone. My climax becomes an ongoing cluster of ecstasy, one raging hit after the next, as he thrusts into me again and again. A guttural rasp leaves his throat like a breeding bull in rut. We're quaking, panting, a tangle of limbs until we're utterly drained. Emphasis on drained. I'm overflowing with him by the end, and there's something weirdly enjoyable about knowing I'll be leaking him all evening. Insane? Yes, and it's our insanity. I'll never get tired of him thieving such delight from my bones. As my body shudders once more, the last of my pleasure fading, I collapse on him, exhausted and blissfully happy. My cheek nuzzles his chest. That was so good, I need a nap. Right here. He kisses the top of my head. Get your beauty sleep. I'll wake you up in half an hour, he whispers. I give him a suspicious look. What for?
Another surprise? You'll see. He says so flatly it's basically an admission. I laugh. Weston, when you said that before, it meant a helicopter ride and 2 long jet flights around the world. His chest rumbles with low laughter. He caresses my side. No chopper this time, but there might be a boat involved. A boat? Why? Rest, and you'll see. He tugs me forward, holding me to his chest. Take your nap. The sooner you sleep, the faster you'll see. Dick, I slap his shoulder. Like I can nap now. Where are we going in another boat? He flips me over so I'm the one on the ground with him on top. Shelley McKnight, you will not ruin this surprise. If I have to fuck you the whole time till it's ready, just so you're distracted, I will. Slade. He just ended me right here, but I managed to kiss him and push at his huge shoulders. Let's get up and go back to the bungalow. We should get ready if it's a huge deal. You have time for your beauty sleep, he warns. Nope, I'm wide awake now, so I'll trade nap time for a shower. Then, because that sounds like heaven, I add, get off me and I might share said shower. Smiling, he jumps off of me, proving once again just how healed his leg is. We grab our belongings and jog up to our bungalow naked. We do share the shower. I guess I'm glad because he torments me with another rush of delirious sexy time up against the tiled wall, and he's as good as his word about occupying my attention until it's time. We're barely dressed when the electric golf cart shows up to take us to the main resort lodge. I'm afraid my face might stick because I can't stop grinning. It's not just whatever ridiculous, totally over-the-top thing he has planned either. It's him, and this wild epiphany. It's knowing that Weston freaking McKnight and his mischief are mine forever. It turns out the boat is more of a full-sized yacht, fancier than the ferry that brought us to the main island. When I realize where we are and that we're heading for the Phoenix Islands, I freak. Aghast with awe, I stare at Weston, who gives me a smile that's way too calm. Now it makes sense, I splutter. That's why you chose this place for the honeymoon, isn't it? He shrugs. I figured someone who's a sweet-ass history dork and lives in a town where the Earhart name's plastered all over might like seeing Amelia Earhart's last known resting place. Nicomororo? I ask, gushing with excitement. We're going to Nicomororo? Damn right, he says with a solemn nod, pulling his olive green U.S. Army hat lower by the brim. He truly knows me inside and out. I hug him like I'm about to break because I am. But as always, his kiss puts me back together. Unbelievable, I whisper, knowing I'll repeat it 10 more times before today ends. Worth it, because the entire day is unreal. The islands are gorgeous, and our guide is an open vault of information. She shows us the exact spot where they found 13 bones, just recently matched with DNA, confirming they once belonged to the famous aviator, Dallas legend, and namesake of Graham's livelihood. I'm in total awe and can't shut up about how badly I can't wait to get home and tell everyone about being here. As we head back to the beach after a whirlwind tour, our guide leaves, telling us our ship will depart in the next hour, and we're free to look around until then. The smile she gives Weston before she darts away makes me wonder if, like me, she thinks he's the most hottest man alive. I'm not even jealous. He's shown me 100 times over that he belongs to me and always will. With my hand clasped in his, we walk a short distance. Soon, I spot an odd circle of whitish stones stacked neatly on the sand. Huh. Almost looks like a sign of sorts, I say, staring at the rocks. Maybe it's pirate treasure, he says, squeezing my hand. Better get digging, Shelley. What? It might be a grave or a memorial. This place is pretty private. Also, there were never any records of pirates in these parts, I say matter-of-factly. I've got some bad news for you, he says, thumping his chest and tugging his hat brim over one eye. Yar, they call me Pigbeard of the Phoenix Islands. He shifts into this snarling pirate accent that makes me laugh. And if you wanna make it back to your favorite oinker alive, ye'd best get digging, seashell. Idiot, I whisper affectionately.
pushing away from him as he pulls his hat back up with a grin. "Don't make me do that again," he chuckles. "Seriously, check it out. Maybe it's a new treasure laid down for someone to discover today." "Oh, yeah? Like who?" I know who he's getting it, but I'm having so much fun I don't want it to end. "Only one way to find out," he tells me. "Is that why the guide looked at you like that?" I ask. "Like the two of you had a secret?" He shrugs, sitting down near the rocks with a dead-eyed look for me. "Get your cute butt over here and dig," he growls. I flop down next to him then, pushing away some sand in the center of the rocks. It looks like the top of something, a small wooden chest? Curious, I dig deeper and lift the chest out of the sand. "What's this?" "What did you do?" I ask. "That's your wedding present." "Really?" I ask, touched by his thoughtfulness. He nods solemnly. Lifting back the lid, I stare at what looks like a large metallic skeleton key in the bottom, then look up at him. He lifts it out of the box for me. "This key still works on the doors inside." "Doors?" "Aunt Faye's house," he says, wagging a finger like it's all obvious. "Okay, odd." I take the heavy key, passing it back and forth, thinking as I feel its weight. "Why give me a key that works on some doors at your aunt's place?" "Because it's your house now, Shell. I drummed up a few donations and pitched in myself to buy it from Faye. All for you." He pauses, kissing me again. "All for my adorable, dorky, history-obsessed wife. There's a new account waiting for you, too, already loaded with cash from everybody who cares about preserving memories. The Barnetts and Larkins alone tossed in enough to keep things going without making a dime for at least the next 5 years. So turn my aunt's place into Dallas's own museum, whatever you decide to call it." Mind blown. I slap a hand over my mouth and try not to short-circuit in his arms. Besides screaming with glee, I don't know what to say or do, or how I can ever repay him. You're serious. This isn't one of your silly jokes." "My jokes are dumb as hell. But when are they cruel?" he says with a smirk. "Seriously, seriously?" I whisper. "Seriously, baby." "Oh my." An ecstatic sob steals my voice. I kiss him, hug him, scratch him like I'm an overstimulated puppy. Laughing, he grabs my wrists, urging calm. "Easy. There's just one little hitch you should know about." "What?" "Anything. I don't think anything could ever ruin this, West." "Good. Because Aunt Faye wants a job at the museum when it opens," he says. "Done." I laugh, sinking into his arms again, forever my safe harbor. "She can teach Hercules to tap dance for a special exhibit for all I care." "Just 1 day a week," he says. "She can't work much more than that because she'll be busy enough at the B&B. I throw myself at him again so hard, he loses his balance. We actually tumble over into the sand together. "You have no idea how much I love you, dream man," I say. "Shit. Just don't start calling me that," he says with a booming laugh. "And I know you love me. Without even trying, you make me feel like the luckiest dude in the universe." "Oh, good, because you're stuck with Mrs. Luckiest." "I'm stuck with a pig," he grumbles, and I laugh because he can't hide his affection for the third wheel of our family anymore. "You, I choose every damn day. You'll be my first, second, third, and 1,000th pick forever." Have I mentioned I love this man? Later, we definitely both get luckier, back in our bungalow and surrounded with glowing candles. Every naked kiss reaffirms our pact as the worst best friends. We were never meant for longing, and now that we're together, I'll never want for anything else. This concludes The Worst Best Friend by Nicole Snow, narrated by C.J. Bloom and Jason Clark. Copyright 2021 by Nicole Snow. This unabridged audiobook is published by arrangement with Nicole Snow, care of Brower Literary and Management, and was produced in the year 2022 by Tantor Media Incorporated, a division of Recorded Books which holds the copyright thereto. Please visit tantor.com for more information on our growing library of unabridged audiobooks.
Audible hopes you have enjoyed this program.